Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got another video for you guys today. So we've got a new Yu-Gi-Oh video for you guys, and this time we're taking a step back from Cyber Dragon. Uh, I know I've kind of slowed down on my competitive series, but I've got a couple of things I need to look into before I start fleshing out some more of that. Today I wanted to see how one of my other favorite decks is actually holding up in the current format, and I was surprised with how well it did. So as you guys can tell from the title, we're gonna be messing around with Evil Eye today. It's always been a super fun deck for me. I've always liked the style of positive and negative effects and balancing them out. And then when they got their two latest cards, I think it was back in Photon Hypernova, I think they came out, which was Basel Trice and Evil Eyes Unleashed. The deck became a lot more consistent. The deck can get a little dull sometimes, because you do end up making the same board a lot because the deck is so consistent. But having 9 1-card starters, 3 1.5 card starters, and being able to play just about every hand trap in the game is just, the deck can get kind of silly. So real quick, let me show you guys the deck we're messing with, and then I have some footage that I recorded that I think it's going to impress some of you guys. So let's jump in. Alright, so here's the deck as it is right now. And I'm going to run through it real quick, and you guys will understand why I'm running stuff the way I am. So first off, we got Sergio, one of our starters. Basel Trice. This card is too nuts to not run at 3. Being able to quick effect special summon yourself from the discard or from the hand is just solid. We do run one Catoboblast, because if we already have a Basel Trice and we need something to send to the graveyard, Catoboblast is the best option because it could just bring itself back. And with making Exceeds with these two, you could just use them over and over and over again. It's fantastic. And believe it or not, that protection on the Evil Eye card from protecting it from destruction, I know it's only one time and only on the following turn, like that has actually saved me many times. Triple Basilisk. This one's a little bit weird, and I could knock it down to 2, but this is our 1.5 card starter. If we have nothing else but Basilius, we can summon him, use his effect, send a Gorgiano to the graveyard, to then activate Gorgiano from the graveyard, banish Gorgiano, discard an Evil Eye card, to then get us at least into something. That's why I always say that this is a 1.5 card starter, because it does require you to have another Evil Eye card. As of right now, the only monster hand traps we're playing are Ash Blossoms and Ghost Mourners. Ghost Mourner is good because the current format has a lot of special summoning, and being able to look at your opponent and be like, cool, you can't activate that effect, and a little bit of burn damage, like it's solid right now. But these hand traps could easily be swapped around based on the format, which is one of the reasons I love this deck. It has so much flexibility. One Evil Eye Awakening, searchable, Monster Reborn, or special summon from deck if Selene's on the board. Evil Eyes Unleashed is another one of our starters. For anybody that doesn't know what this card does and why it's so bonkers, as cost, it sends an Evil Eye monster and Evil Eye spell trap card to the graveyard. As cost. So you could either send Basel Trice, or if you already have one in hand, you could send Catoboblast, and then you could send Gorgiano, which can get you a search. And then afterwards, after you send for cost, it searches an equip spell. So you can grab Selene, or if you already have Selene, you can grab another Gorgiano to set up another search. The reason that's a starter, because you send your combo pieces to the graveyard, and then Gorgiano gets you a search. And even if you have no other Evil Eye cards, you already added a Selene, which you can then banish Gorgiano, ditch Selene, get an Evil Eye card, and then you can get the Selene back later. Nuts. Prosperity, great for consistency. I didn't realize how good it was in this deck, but we have so many extra deck cards that we don't really care about. Call by the Grave is Call by the Grave. It's good in the current format because there's so many graveyard effects. Plus, it helps dodge certain hand traps. And being able to stop a card for 2 turns, like even at a regional, this actually won me a game. Forbidden Droplet, great board breaker. This deck makes bigger boards as far as like back row and monsters. Like there's so many extra cards that you don't need. Like our field spell for one, we don't need that after we've already used it for the search. We can easily pop that. We can also use one of our trap cards and then Forbidden Droplet with it. We have plenty of fodder monsters if we need to negate making sure that our opponent can't respond with monsters. Forbidden Droplet is just really flexible in this deck. Evil Eye Repose, I run it as a 1-of. Again, it's searchable. For anybody that doesn't know what it does, When you activate it, you can banish an Evil Eye card from the graveyard to draw an extra card. After damage calculation, if a monster equipped with Selene battled a monster, you can then banish the monster instead of sending it to the grave. And then if this card gets sent from field to graveyard, you can take 3 banish cards, put them back into your graveyard so you can get your searches back and whatnot. It's one of the only ways that Evil Eye has to get back their banish cards. Sorry, I'm talking really, really fast. I'm trying to get into the gameplay. 3 Evil Eye Domain Pareidolia. This is actually our other starter. This on activation searches an Evil Eye card. The rest of its effects kind of really don't matter as much. The first effect is basically if a monster equipped with Selene battles an opponent's monster and I would take damage, you can make your opponent take the same amount of damage, so a little bit of burn. And then if this card is destroyed by card effect, whether my opponent's or my own, I can add Evil Eye monster back from graveyard back to hand. So my mistake, I didn't explain Surzeal because this card goes really, really good with Surzeal because you pop Pareidolia, you get back an Evil Eye monster. We got our equip spells, 2 and 2. Gorgiano's nuts because of the search. Selene's nuts because of the protection. We are playing 1 Evil Eye defeat. I had an extra slot. I thought about putting another thrust in, and that might still be a thing. But having the defeat has been... I haven't really had to use it yet, but I feel like having a double compulse that you can search out is sometimes kind of nice. But if I were to take it out, I'd probably just put another Triple Tactics Thrust in, because we play a lot of normal spells and normal traps. Triple Impermanence, great card. Evil Eye Retribution. This card will never come out of this deck. It's a searchable counter trap card for spell and trap negates. And for anybody that doesn't understand what its second effect is, its effect can't be negated. Its activation and effect cannot be negated as long as Selene's on the board. So it can't be responded to with another counter trap card. You can actually activate this in an imperm column because its effect cannot be negated. And I know nobody plays it, but if Royal Decree was on the board, it could still activate stuff like that. We're playing 1 thrust right now. I had a space. I wanted another going second card just in case. And yeah, it's done okay so far. Extra deck. Extra deck's a little funky, but hear me out. Zeus and a whole line of cards to go into Zeus, which we got Fortune Tome, which can't be destroyed by battle, so we could swing and then go into Slack Ammunition and get a big Zeus. Those are also cards that we don't care about, so they're also really easy prosperity targets. I slept on this card, Usher King's Nuts. It takes 3 level 3 monsters to make, but it's a monster negate and it can attack a number of times up to how many materials it has. Dope ass card, and it can negate a monster effect from anywhere. It doesn't just have to be on board. Darius is just to get into Machine X. Machine X is fucking psycho. Cicada King, another monster negate, though it can only negate monsters on the board, so not as good. Still not bad. It only takes 2 level 3s. Access Code Talker, because this is a link-based deck, we can very easily climb into Access Code Talker. Double Zerziel. I love Zerziel. This is probably my favorite Evil Eye card. Being able to pop, swing twice, it's dope. And it can permanently negate if you play it right. Unicorn and Phoenix were in there just because I needed I had the space, so I was like, what's an easy Link 2, Link 3 to use? And then of course Triple Gorgon, because Gorgon is actually our most important Link monster. It's an on-field monster negate. It gets bigger. It's super easy to make, especially since we can make it with any Evil Eye and any other monster. So we could also use like dead hand traps in our hand if we absolutely need to. Because there's so much space in the extra deck that's not being used, you can also easily put Super Poly in this deck. Though I feel like Super Poly is not as strong right now, because the target's like, sure, you get to clear a couple of monsters off your opponent's board if you manage to make the right fusion based on what your opponent has, but sometimes they don't help progress your game state. So like, I flip-flop on Super Poly on how I feel about it. Side deck. Side deck. Ghost Bells for graveyard effects. Triple Tactics for going second. This card's nutso even going second. Cycle for back row decks. Cross out Designator if we play against somebody who plays a lot of hand traps. Since we play a lot of hand traps, we have a shitload of targets for cross out Designator. And then the card that I swear is going to save everybody against the current meta, Silent Graveyard, discard a card, negate all graveyard effects. You guys will see in the gameplay how strong this card actually is. But I know that explanation of the deck went way longer than I meant it to, so I'm gonna shut up and we're gonna jump into the gameplay. All right, so this is post recording, so I'm giving you guys some post commentary. I want to have some gameplay so I could edit it, make it a little bit shorter, so we can have some fun. We are playing. We won the rock paper scissors, and I'll tell you right now, I remember this game. We are actually going up against Unchained, and going first is where we are at our strongest with this deck. So we start off with the field spell. Field spell was able to search us a Basilius. Sorry, Basiltrice. So it searched us the Basiltrice. Now, with the way our hand is set up, we didn't care about an Ash Blossom. Our opponent could have Ash Blossom, would have been fine. Even in you'll see what our opponent does. But the only card that could have really hurt us here is Droll. And even then, that's a maybe. So now we use Serziel. Serziel would have got a search. Here we would have searched Evil Eyes Unleashed and continued comboing out. We would have played Evil Eyes Unleashed, ditch Gorgiano, ditch Katoba Pass, got Celine, and then we would have Gorgiano getting rid of Basiltrice, because we can bring them both back from the grave. But our opponent hits us with an Imperm, unfortunately. So we're like, fine, it is what it is. We end up summoning Basilius. At this point, we're like, we could still combo out. Basilius will send a spell or trap card from deck to grave. So we were going to send Gorgiano. We would have ditched another one of our cards to get a search. We would have been able to keep playing. We would have got Evil Eyes Unleashed again. But our opponent had a second Imperm. The chances of that are so low. But we end up summoning out Basiltrice from our hand using its effect, and we decide to make Machinex. Unfortunately, we don't have our full setup, but we do still have the 2 monster steals, and we have our counter trap card, so we can at least stop a spell and trap card, as well as removing some monsters off the field with Machinex.
General, we are discovered.
And we can also, you know, quick link once we detach the Basiltrice. So our opponent goes to activate Abomination's Prison, which summons an Unchained monster from the deck, and we just up and negate it. I double checked. I'm sorry, it adds one from deck to hand. I just up and negate it. It doesn't have an effect unless it's destroyed while it's face down. So I was just like, let me not let him get a free search. You know what I mean? Especially since I had no way to stop monster effects once he starts rolling. But I guess our opponent bricked because he just ended up quitting. Sure, he could have started summoning monsters, but as soon as he started using effects, I would have just started attaching them to Machinex, preventing him from link summoning or exceed summoning. On to game 2. Now, I left the side-in footage here so you guys can see what I sided in. I sided in the 3 silent graveyards because turning off graveyard effects. I was going to side in Ghost Spell, but I wasn't sure if Ghost Spell actually works on any of the Unchained cards. So I just said we're probably going second, so let me side in Triple Tactics. We sat out some of our trap cards because we're going second. Obviously, trap cards we want to set first. The only downside is I had to get rid of some of my search targets. I was going to get rid of Prosperity, but I'm like, why would I get rid of Prosperity? I could search answers. So I get rid of the cards that require me to have more of a setup, you know what I mean? Ghost Mourner was the only one I was just like, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. And yeah, this hand's pretty bad at first, but it gets made really good by Pot of Prosperity and Silent Graveyard. So our opponent goes to Tour Guide, and I know he's playing Unchained. I wasn't sure if I should do this. I felt like I should have just kept the Imperm for a board breaker, but I was just like, why am I gonna let him get a free monster? And I Impermed the Tour Guide. I wasn't sure what he could get with another level 3, but I know that would just be more fodder for him to destroy. But now he summons this dude, gets another monster from his deck. This card is annoying. Red Dog. Sharvara, is that how they said it? Plays Yama. Activates the Yama effect. Activates the Shavara. So now he gets a trap card. Now he gets to add. Standard plays. Now he's going to destroy the monster to summon the Shavara. And just off that alone, we already know he's got High King Caesar, because now he gets to summon a monster from the deck. and he has materials to make Unchained Soul of Rage. Right? Rage is the blue one. Yep, Shiyama. And then, yeah, there's Solar Rage. So he's got the basic Unchained setup, and he still has 2 more cards in hand. Sorry, if you guys see the screen jump, I had to cut out some extra footage because there was some points where this guy was taking mad long. So now he's got the summon negate, and he doesn't have anything else. So in reality, we just have to stop 1 card, and we already have Forbidden Droplet in hand. So we're already looking pretty good. So we start off with Pride of Prosperity because we don't have any starters. Now, I'm going to highlight the 6 cards that we decided to get rid of, and I'll explain why we got rid of them. Alright, so, first off, Ashura King. Ashura King takes 3 level 3 monsters. I didn't see us getting 3 level 3 monsters, that's why I got rid of it. The same concept kind of goes with Unicorn, Access Code Talker, and Nightmare Phoenix. If I'm going to make a link to, I'm probably going to go into Gorgon. So I was just like, I'm not, at that point, I'm also not going to go into Unicorn, and I'm probably not getting out 4 monsters to go into Access Code Talker. We got rid of 1 Zerziel because we really only need 1, especially at this point in the game. So that's why I picked those 6. I left my XYZs in there just in case. And bam, we have our starter. Send the rest back. And now we're gonna go Paradelia. Paradelia gets us Zerziel. The reason this is also cool is because Zerziel is a normal summon, so since it's a normal summon monster, Soul of Rage can't link it away, and since we're not using an effect to summon it, he can't use Caesar on it. But now we're going to use Evil Eyes Unleashed. Right now we're kind of trying to play around the Caesar and what effects can actually allow us to summon. Now we get our Celine. All going well so far. But now we activate Celine. We're going to put it onto Zerziel, and there's still nothing he can really do right now. And this is where we decide to get a little tricky with him. We use Zerziel's quick effect to pop a special summon monster. We're going to get rid of the Caesar so that we can summon without any restriction. He decides to use Caesar's effect, and then he tries to use Shabara's effect. And we're like, yeah, side deck card. Silent Graveyard. Bong. Now, I don't want to discard any of these cards, in all honesty. They're all really, really solid cards. I decided to go with Triple Tactics Talent because I feel like we can get more continuance out of Basilius. But maybe I was wrong. I could have got rid of Basilius and kept the talents. But I was just like, maybe yes, maybe no. Also, we haven't used Gorgiano's search effect yet, which we need an Evil Eye card for. So that's another reason I wanted to keep Basilius. See, this is where I hesitate. So like, do I really want to get rid of Triple Tactics? But then we decide to chain to our own card, Forbidden Droplet. Oh, sorry, Battletrice first. But now, see, he could obviously, once Battletrice hits the board, he could link away the Battletrice. So we're just gonna negate Rage altogether. And our opponent surrendered. At this point, we were just gonna be able to keep going. I could have either special summoned the Basilius from hand along with the Battletrice to make an XYZ monster to continue to push our opponent. We could have went all the way up to Machinex, or I could have gotten an additional search to continue to lock our opponent out. Like, we were in a really, really strong situation at this point, and I guess our opponent knew it because they ended up quitting. And with Silent Graveyard in effect, he had almost no way to recover while we just continued our setup. And because of the way we set up the train, we were still going to get Battletrice from the graveyard, which is hilarious. Now, because that match went by so fast, I did put one more game in here, so we're going to jump into that game now. So this one was kind of funny, because this one was against, I thought it was Dark Magician, but it's not. It's Gate Guardian, which is funny, because somebody, I guess, topped a regional with Gate Guardian. He sent a level 7 spellcaster from his deck to the graveyard to summon Magician's Souls, which would normally let him summon out Dark Magician, or send 2 to the grave to draw 2. He plays a new field spell, which I didn't even know that was a thing, but that puts Suijin into the back row. And now he uses Prisma to dump Sangha, so now he has all three. And now he gets to make the new Gate Guardian. So I was like, that's a pretty cool play, but it only left him with one interruption for a lot of cards that he had to use. So I'm like, alright, what am I going to do here? We have 3 1-card stars. Like, that is insanity to me. So we start off with Paradelia, we go to get a search. At this point, we play the Paradelia just to try and bait an Ash Blossom. So we're going to grab Katopa Pass, and that's going to be our discarder for a Gorgiano. Now we play Evil Eyes Unleashed, dumping Basiltrice and Gorgiano. We're just chilling. We add the Selene. All things are good so far. We're going to finally normal summon Surzeal. Surzeal's effect's going to search. And this time, I believe we go with Basilius. I was going to go Repose because Gate Guardian has a graveyard effect where it's, I believe it summons back the other 3. Or it adds them. I don't remember. But I was going to use Repose to try and banish it. But I guess if it leaves the field for any reason, he would have got it anyway. So instead, we decided to go with Basilius. So now we equip Selene, we put Selene on. So now Surzeal has its protection. We use Gorgiano to ditch the Katopa Pass. We end up searching our counter trap card just in case we end up needing it after this turn, because it's our only form of spell and trap negate. Now we have quick effects we could use. We decide to summon out. I was going to summon out Basiltrice because of the combo we're going to go into next. Now we're going to summon out Katopa Pass. Pong. We end up using Katopa Pass's protection effect on Selene, so now if he wants to destroy Selene, he has to destroy it twice. And then we summon out Basilius. Do you guys see what I'm going for here? Now that we have 3 level 3 monsters on the board, we actually decide to use Ashura King. Because that is a monster negate that for anywhere on the board. So now we activate Surzeal to pop the Gate Guardian. He attempts to negate. And we use Forbidden Droplet that we were saving in our hand, getting rid of our field spell. And now it goes to the graveyard. He attempts to activate its graveyard effect. In this case, we chain Ashura King. Now, unfortunately, I didn't realize it, but because of the field spell, none of my monsters can attack. Because of that field spell says any monster that's below level 5 can't attack the turn it's summoned. And as we know, Exceed monsters don't have a level, so I had gone to my battle phase, realized I couldn't attack, went to main phase 2, and set all my cards. Now, I would have saved the Gorgiano. The reason I set the Gorgiano is because of Surzeal. So, for anybody that doesn't know, Surzeal's effect to destroy a special summon monster comes at a big cost. Because on the following standby phase, even if it's your opponent's turn, you have to pop one of your own cards. So I'm saying the Gorgiano so that way not only do I have a target to pop, but now I'll have a search on my next turn. As long as I draw into an Evil Eye card or I use, the field spell. Go to end phase, we have, just going into our opponent's turn, we have a monster negate, we have a monster pop, we have Basiltrice in the grave to special summon if we need to quick link, and we have a spell and trap negate on the board. So now we're going to activate our mandatory effect to destroy a card, which is also making our monster stronger, which also sets up what we end up going for after that. So now Surzeal is a 2600 point monster. I love Selene. Sorry, I thought I cut out all the dead time. Our opponent goes for a fusion deployment, which would have got him out one of the Trinity. I'm just like, nah, we're gonna negate that. We end up using Surzeal anyway. The reason I decided to use Surzeal on a monster that really don't matter is because A, I don't want him to have any link materials just in case he decides to link, and because I knew I was gonna go into Basiltrice afterward. because now we're going to use Bastard Choice, and we're going to quick link. So cool thing about Bastard Choice, it can make a link on my opponent's turn, but when I make an Evil Eye link, I can also use the equip spell as one of the materials. So we went straight into Zerziel. The reason we went into Zerziel is to deal with that field spell. So if you're wondering what just happened, remember I have Evil Eyes Unleashed in the grave from the first turn. Evil Eyes Unleashed graveyard effect. When I make a link monster, I can banish it, equip an equip spell from the graveyard. Again, even if it's during my opponent's turn, it's trigger effect. Now you try to use it to place one of the Trinity into a spell and trap zone. We just say, nah, get rid of that. Bam, we gain more power. And because we made because we use a monster that had at least 2,600 attack points, he can attack twice, and he's already a 31. Now, the cool thing about the way my board is set up is that I have 2 attacks on Zerziel plus 2 attacks on the Ashura King. So that's 4 attacks right there that I already technically have game on board, because I could just swing over his monster with Ashura, swing at him directly, and then attack him twice with Zerziel. So I'm not surprised our opponent ended up quitting that game. Alright guys, that's it for the video. As you can see, the deck has a lot of flexibility, it can do a lot of really cool stuff. Because the package, it really isn't that big. Hell, even the essential cards, you don't need to play Medusa, you don't need to play Defeat. Technically, you don't need to play Awakening either. So you could cut that, you could throw in more hand traps, you could throw in more board breakers. Like, the deck works off such a small amount of cards that it makes it so you can make the deck do some really crazy stuff. So let me know what you guys think of the video down in the comments. Let me know how you guys feel about the Evil Eye deck. Let me know what you guys are running as techs in your deck, because maybe we can, you know, make something a little crazy. Maybe, you know, if I hit our goal with Cyber Dragons and, you know, manage to top a regional, maybe the next deck I'll try and do some more competitive stuff with is Evil Eye. Anyway guys, if you guys want to check me out on social media, those links will be down below. That's it from me. I'll catch you guys next time.